All right, so hey, UC Santa Cruz, LALS class, Cal State LA's back in the house. We've got some things to say. Anyone want to start? There were a few questions that were posed to us. What about that first one? Is your campus politically active? Anyone want to?
It could always be better. There's like activism here, but I mean, it's never perfect, you know. Like today, a couple people were at a protest or a little rally today in solidarity with the family of Eric
Garner.
Eric
Yeah.
Garner, there you go, who was killed, and the indictment, the police officer wasn't indicted. And just last week, we did another rally for the family of Mike Brown, which that Officer Darren Wilson was not indicted. So, I mean, there are movements here, but could always be better, bigger.
Right. I think there's been a rally, one each week for the last, 4 weeks or so.
Yeah.
On Tuesday. So what do you think? There were other thoughts I know earlier about, is this a politically active campus? There's an occupation going on at Santa Cruz over fee hikes. What about Cal State LA? What's going on here?
We tried that a few years ago. We have Barnes & Noble. So it's not a student-run university. It's called University of Wilson, but it's not university-run. So we tried that, and we had it sitting in there. But as far as, now we have a designated area where everything happens. So that's the freedom of speech zone. That's kind of what they call it. So they're trying to police even that. Our activism here on campus, that's being policed definitely. And that wasn't a thing before. That area wasn't a designated area now. In the past, and now it is. So they're definitely, now we have a lot of more police on campus. They're on bikes, cars. It's 420, and they're just all over the place with their rifles and guns, and so they're definitely trying hard to control the police.
Yeah. Has anyone else noticed police on campus? What do you think it's about?
I think it's becoming more militarized. We see like the police officers on their motorcycles, and then I look on their back seat, and there's like an AR-15 just hanging there.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Campus police.
Campus police, yeah. Or it looks like some kind of like very like militarized weapon. What is it? What is the purpose of it?
Right. Yeah. Other thoughts? This is a politically active campus. What are all these militarized police doing here? There were some really brilliant insights earlier before we turned on the camera.
I think it may, I would think their excuse would be all these shootings in the school to have those kind of weapons. I'm not saying that it's okay to have those kind of weapons here, but that would maybe help us if that were ever come to our campus, someone shooting up the library or one of the buildings, something like that. So that may be one of their excuses why they have those type of weapons on campus.
Okay. Other excuses? Okay.
Before the camera was on, we talked about that the fact that there is a freedom of speech zone, tell us that the rest of the university is not so free as we thought it was. We also talked about a lot of apathy among students, and sometimes we don't wake up until something affects us personally, and because we're part of the institution and we're being taught not to react, and there's this numbing effect until something affects us personally.
That's a really interesting. How do you think you're being taught not to react as university students, or taught to be numb, or allowed to be numb? That's a really intense insight.
Well, I will also I will also mention that there is also like the everyday occupations, like us are being active every day. Like sometimes we can not meet together with another students, but what about in our classes? Do we mention we have learning another class? Let's say, do we take from this to another class? And let's mention if another classmate mentioned a few minutes ago that in other departments besides sociology or the Latin American studies, there are not as much discussions of what is going on in the world or here in LA. So what about occupying like every day, talking about these discussions, not just here, but outside. So I see the campus political active because even though it is it seems to be a small action, something is better than nothing. So.
Okay. All right, good. Yeah, there's always room to build.